Porto is an incredible city with loads to see and do, so if you're spending 3 days here, it helps to have a bit of a plan. After recently spending a very enjoyable week in Porto, this is how we'd spend 3 days if it was our first visit. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a few great ideas for your own trip. Start your day with coffee and a pastry or two. I've added some options for places to go to a map and written guide. The one I'm showing you now is Confeitaria de Bolhão, which is the oldest pastry shop in the city and has a ton of delicious sweet and savoury options. This used to be the place where rich people from Porto would have breakfast before going to Bolhão Market, which we'll be visiting a bit later. Get your first feel for Porto on a free walking tour led by a local. They'll guide you through the historic streets, show you some of the sights, share folk stories, and give tips on where to eat and drink. The tour can last up to 3 hours and covers the eastern part of the city centre, finishing at the riverfront. I've pulled everything in this video into a map and written itinerary in case that's useful. You can grab it using the QR code on screen or the link in the video description. You might not want to leave the beautiful Ribeira waterfront just yet, but you'll be back later. For lunch, head to Mercado de Bolhão, Porto's oldest and most famous market. Wander the bustling stalls and grab small bites of food from different vendors. Pair it with a fresh juice or a glass of green wine, a delicious Portuguese wine that's light, fruity and just a little bit fizzy. Just a 3-minute walk from Bolhão Market is the 18th century Chapel of Souls, which is completely covered in blue and white tiles. Hopefully you can tell from these clips that it's well worth a short detour. Spend the rest of your afternoon exploring the colourful Ribeira neighbourhood. You'll have had a taste of it during the walking tour, but make time to wander at your own pace and see what you find. The area is full of character, with its narrow streets packed with brightly coloured buildings. Make sure you stop by Praça de Ribeira, one of the oldest parts of the city and historically the heart of Porto's river trade. By now you might be flagging a bit, and the Six Bridges River Cruise is the perfect excuse to have a sit down. You'll cruise along the Douro, enjoy the views, listen to the audio guide, and probably wave manically at every boat that passes you, which I'm pretty sure is tourist boats law. It's usually a couple of euros cheaper to take the cruise from the Gaia side rather than the Ribeira side of the river, so it's up to you whether that saving is worth crossing the bridge for. That evening, go to a traditional Fado show. Fado is the style of Portuguese music that's all about emotion and storytelling. It's a big part of Portugal's national identity, so in Porto you'll find loads of places offering performances, from classic Fado houses to dinner shows. If you don't go to a dinner show and you're looking for somewhere to eat, a good tip is to check the fork. You can often find really big discounts, sometimes up to 50%. One night we had bread with dips, clams in white wine, a seafood risotto, and cheesecake for dessert, all for under €60 for 2 people. For breakfast, grab yourself a pastel nata or 2. These little Portuguese custard tarts are dangerously good. They started in Lisbon, but you'll find them in bakeries all over Porto. If you went on the walking tour yesterday, you probably saw the fortress-like cathedral from the outside, but I would recommend returning this morning to see it from the inside. The highlights for us was the Gothic cloister, covered in blue and white Portuguese tiles depicting religious scenes. You can also get some great views over Porto from the tower. Take a 30-minute tour of Palácio de Bolsa, originally built in the 1800s as Porto's stock exchange. You'll be shown some amazing rooms, with the Arab room being particularly impressive. Even if you book online, you don't get a time slot. You still need to go to the ticket office to find out the next available tour. We didn't book ahead, went within an hour of opening, and didn't have to wait long for the next English tour. If you do have a bit of time to wait like we did, you could pass some time by heading around the corner to watch the old trams and view a couple of nearby churches. Before this afternoon's activities, I'd recommend a good filling lunch. And filling is definitely one way to describe the francesinha, one of Porto's most famous dishes. This gloriously over-the-top beast of a sandwich is layered with meat, melted cheese, and a rich beer-based sauce. It usually also comes with chips and sometimes even an egg on top. And don't worry vegetarians, some places do vegetarian versions as well. If that sounds a bit much, then fair enough, you could try a cachorrinho instead. This is Porto's take on a hot dog, small, crispy, cheesy, and finished with a spicy sauce. Still far from healthy, but another Porto favourite that isn't as intense as the francesinha. For one of the best views in Porto, walk across the top of Dom Luís I Bridge. Just watch out for the metro. The views over the Douro River and the colourful Ribeira district are fantastic, and it's a great spot for photos. This double-decker bridge was designed by a pupil of Gustave Eiffel. Once you've crossed the bridge, you've actually left Porto and entered Vila Nova de Gaia, the area directly opposite the city and home to the famous port wine cellars. Spend some time wandering around Gaia, especially along the waterfront. It's a lovely area with a relaxed feel, street musicians, market stalls, and the cable car gliding overhead. Keep an eye out for the large rabbit sculpture made from recycled materials. If you've seen our Madeira videos, this was made by the same artist who created the seal mural and the fish sculpture. Gaia is also home to the World of Wine complex, which has several museums dedicated to wine, chocolate, cork, and regional history. We chose a ticket that included Taylor's Port Lodge and tasting, plus entry to one museum of our choice. The World of Wine staff we spoke to recommended the wine experience, so that's the one we went for. It's pretty interactive, walks you through how wine is made, and there's even a short tasting demo at the end. I would recommend it. If you do book the World of Wine combo ticket, follow your museum visit with a tour and tasting at Taylor's. It's self-guided, so you can explore at your own pace before sampling a white, tawny, and a vintage in the beautiful garden. There are plenty of other lodges you could visit around Gaia, so I've added a few other options to the map and written itinerary. End your day at Jardim do Morro. It's my favourite viewpoint in Porto, with a fantastic view across the Douro, towards Ribeira, and the colourful buildings climbing up the hillside. In the evening, the atmosphere here is usually really lively. You'll often find live music, groups of friends and family gathering on the grass, and people settling in to watch the sunset. There's often vendors selling drinks and snacks too, although you could also just bring your own. Even if you don't want to stay until sunset, it's still a really nice place to spend a bit of time at any point in the day. For your third day, I'd really recommend heading out to the Douro Valley because it was one of the highlights of our trip. Of course, you could easily spend another day exploring Porto itself, so I'll link a video and written guide in the description with more things to do in the city if you'd prefer to stay local. The Douro Valley is Portugal's most famous wine region. We chose to visit as part of a guided tour that included transport, a boat trip, visits to family-run wineries, a tasty lunch, and, of course, wine tasting. After we were picked up and driven out to the Douro Valley, our day began with a 1-hour private river cruise on a small boat, followed by visits to 2 wineries. We were taken behind the scenes, strolled through the vineyards, and later relaxed by the pool with incredible views across the valley. There were at least 11 different wines to try throughout the day, from the boat trip through to the final winery, and you could sample as much or as little as you like, including refills. While the trip was informative, for us it struck a really nice balance between learning and simply enjoying the moment. It felt just as much about soaking up the scenery as it did about tasting the wine. An easy way to get from Porto Airport to the city centre is by metro. Line E runs directly to Trindade, which connects you to the rest of the network. Most places in the centre are walkable, but anything further out you can use the metro or buses. You'll need an Andante card, which is a rechargeable travel card you can buy from the vending machines in any metro station, including the airport. Just remember to tap it at the yellow machines before each journey. You'll need 1 per person and don't throw them away because you can top them back up. If you got this far, then thank you for watching. I really do hope this video was helpful.